Hello everyone! Last week we did part 1 of Deathwing's story, ending it with getting his draconic butt handed to him by his fellow aspects. He's been spending some time in Deepholm, recovering his strength and basking in the powers of the elemental plane, as well as that of his master Azeroth, feeding its own dark energy into Deathwing's heart, infusing the aspect with a power unlike any that he had ever known. But just like when he wielded the Dragon Soul, this influx of power, it had quite the effect on the body. At Azeroth's command, Twilight's Hammer cultist bolted adamantium plates over the Black Dragon aspect's wounds to keep his body from tearing apart.
The world heaves with my torment. Its wretched kingdoms quake beneath my rage. But at last, the whole of Azeroth will break. And all will burn beneath the shadow of my wings.
It was time to bring about the Hour of Twilight, the moment in which the old gods would break out of their prisons, rule the world once more. To them, Deathwing was just a puppet to use, a means to an end, as we can clearly see within the End Time dungeon. This shows us a timeline in which they actually succeeded. We failed in saving the world and the old gods rule. As we can see, Deathwing's reward for the victory earned wasn't exactly great. He wasn't aware of this though, so they pushed forward with their many plots and schemes. Battles of the past, it had shown the old gods that a unified Azeroth, Horde and Alliance working together, they could accomplish amazing feats, like actually taking care of the old gods. Pitching them against each other while simultaneously launching a whole bunch of different campaigns. It was their best chance of success. If only one of their campaigns succeeded, then that was it. The Hour of Twilight would become a thing. A great idea on paper, but in practice, we saw the rise of many great heroes, facing off against the darkness, despite what their factions might be doing. We also had smaller organizations, like the Cenarian Circle or the Earthen Ring, that focus more on healing and saving Azeroth rather than killing each other. They will be on the front lines and push back against the darkness. So it was that we saw them fight against Ragnaros the Firelord and the Twilight's Hammer at Mount Hyjal, stopping them from burning down the World Tree Nordrassil. In Uldum, they stood against Elekir the Windlords, prevented them from getting their hands on an epic weapon that could wipe out the planets. In Deepholm, they assisted Featherzane the Earth Mother, who had refused to sign up with the old gods, and they also restored the World Pillar, that which Deathwing had destroyed. In Vazir, they tried to assist Neptulon the Tidehunter, who had also refused to sign up with the old gods and found his domain under attack by the Naga. And then, in the Twilight Highlands, they fought against the Twilight's Hammer, and they didn't stand alone either. Alexstrasza was horrified to see the sheer destructive power unleashed and the untold deaths that the Cataclysm had caused. Knowing that Deathwing was behind it, she knew that it was only the beginning. Again, their fallen brother poses a world-ending threat, and while it saddens her greatly, he must be destroyed. Easier said than done though, as Deathwing has gotten quite a power upgrade.
Lifebinder, do you presume that I'm at your beck and call? I have a world to unmake.
It pains me, Neltharion, but I must end you, as I have ended Malagos.
End me, Lifebinder. You think life is yours to take away? Life is weak, mortal, fleeting, fragile. Death is final. Death is eternal. Death is my realm. Look upon me, and you see death incarnate, the unmaker of worlds.
I see the hollow metal shell of a once great ally, and the precious gift of the Titans wasted.
Then witness my new gifts, bestowed by this world's true masters!
With the battle taking her to the skies over Grimbatul, the plan unravels a bit, as she was supposed to take him on within the circle of life. We'll have to give it a hand, shoot down any Twilight Drakes that are aiding the Destroyer.
There! They've fallen!
The Earth Warder. He is dead.
Mother, stay still. Your wounds are great.
The Black Aspect's blood is cursed. Wherever it was shed, nothing will grow for 10,000 years. But it is over. We can work now to bottle up the horrors he has unleashed.
Deathwing! He lives!
Impossible!
Mortal! Take the Dragon Queen. Carry her to safety. Now! Run! Get her away from here! I will delay the aspect of death! Take her to safety! Go!
Kaelin! No!
The sun has set on this mortal world, fools. Make peace with your end, for the hour of twilight falls.
Defeating Deathwing wasn't gonna be quite that easy, and would require the unified strength of the aspects. The Twilight's Hammer was a different matter though, within their bastion of Twilight. Heroes fought their way through their halls, with their leader Cho'Gall seemingly the final boss to slay. That is, until he did it on the highest difficulty, actually uncovered the deeper plots going on. Sinfaria, also known as Sinestra, she was brought back, was busy creating more Twilight Dragons. We put a stop to that, but not only did they bring back Sinfaria, their children, Onyxia and Nefarian, they got another go as well. Another threat to take out within the Black Rock Mountain. Safe to say, Deathwing and Azoth, they threw a whole lot at the world of Azeroth. But time and time again, heroes rose up and saved the day. His little battle with Alexstrasza did have him a bit worried. Sure enough, he had narrowly won against just her, but what if the aspects united again? If they managed to return to their former glory and power, they would become the only true threat to his existence. Little did he know of the potential that former war chief Thrall held. Now going by the name Goel, he was on a shamanistic journey of self-discovery and saving the world. A great ally to the dragon aspects as it turned out, critical in saving them from Deathwing's next assault. But it still left them with the Destroyer to deal with. So it was that they came up with a crazy idea. To make it happen, they were going to need the special artifact of Deathwing's design that had caused the dragons so much grief. They were going to turn the Demon Soul against him. Bit of a challenge, considering that the Demon Soul had been destroyed by Ronin. But nothing's impossible when you've got your bronze dragonflight on your side. Nosdormu, with his powers over time, guided adventurers through the timeways, to the exact moment at the end of the War of the Ancients, where they could yoink the artifact out of the timeline and bring it back home. The dragon aspects then set out for Wyrmrest Temple to infuse the artifact with their combined might, along with Thrall's shamanistic power.
And now, shaman, you will give the dragon's soul to me.
I will not, Archbishop. It will never be yours.
I suppose it has to be this way then. If only you'd seen what I've seen. Then you'd understand. Now, die! I looked into the eyes of the dragon and despaired.
Knowing what they were up to, knowing that if an enemy succeeded, he would perish, Deathwing unleashed all of his fury at the temple. We saw faceless ones, black dragons, nether dragons, twilight cultists. Their full might was unleashed to stop Thrall and the aspects and bring about this Hour of Twilight. The noble dragon aspects and the champions of the Horde and the Alliance. They did not face these enemies alone. We had members of the Red, Green, Blue and Bronze Flight all gathered to fight for control of the area. They clashed with the Twilight Dragons, their winged forms blotting out the sun. The costs on all sides were horrific. Hundreds of cultists and Twilight Dragons lost their lives, but just as many Temple Defenders fell within this battle. Their sacrifices bought us the time we needed. It allowed the Dragon Aspects and their allies to focus their wrath on Deathwing.
The ritual will take much from us, as it requires a very piece of our being. We will be weakened greatly.
Heroes, this burden falls to you once again. You must protect us from Deathwing's forces, while we imbue the dragon's soul with the power of the aspects.
It is good to see you again, Alexstrasza. I have been busy in my absence, twisting your pitiful whelps into mindless abominations, bent only to my will. It was a very painful process.
They are my clutch no longer. Bring them down.
Mere whelps, experiments, a means to a greater end. You will see what the research of my clutch has yielded. Nefarian, Onyxia, Sinestra, they were nothing. Now you face my ultimate creation. The hour of twilight is nigh. The sun sets on your pitiful, mortal existence.
I sense a great disturbance in the balance approaching. The chaos of it burns my mind.
I am the beginning of the end. The shadow which blots out the sun. The bell which tolls your doom. For this moment alone was I made. Look upon your death, mortals, and despair. But I am out.
It is done. Our power now resides within the Dragon Soul. Our fate lies with you, Earthwarder.
Taretha, Cairn, Agra, I will not fail you. I will not fail this world.
He is heading to the Maelstrom. We must stop him now. We may never get another chance if he escapes into Deepholm.
Sky Captain Swayze of the Skyfire and Kaano Reeves of the Korkron Air Command. They guide us through the sky in hot pursuit of the destroyer. Warmaster Blackthorn and their Twilight Dragons. They try to bring the vessel down, but are unsuccessful, which leaves the path open for our heroes to make some crazy moves.
Coming apart. Tear up the plates and we've got a shot to Don't worry about me. Stop the destroyer. And you Falana, Darini.
Our captain is blown away, leaving us alone on the spine of Deathwing. By using the Mad Aspect's own corrupted blood against him, we're able to peel away the plates that are holding him together, leaving him wide open for Thrall to take another shot. The himself sensed that its servant was on the verge of defeat. The old god's plans were unraveling, and they made one final, desperate attempt to turn the tide, infusing Deathwing with more of its power, more than the old god had ever given the Black Dragon aspect before. The influx of energy was so great that Deathwing's unstable body wrenched apart.
You have done nothing! I will tear your world apart!
Barely holding on, he makes one final, desperate attempt to fulfill their plans. All that this monstrous being now desires is destruction, annihilation, and the end of all things. It was time to jump from one platform to another, infused by the power of the aspects. We kicked him off and made room for Thrall to deliver the final blow.
I
will charge you with arcane energy to blast your foes!
The end of all things. Inevitable, indomitable. I am the Cataclysm!
Such rage I have never seen. We are one step closer. The unknowable, transcendent power of the Emerald Dream. I now give unto the Dragon's Soul.
Your armor means nothing.
I can feel the elements awakening, rejoicing. The Cataclysm is over.
The champions who fought at our side assured the survival of our world. But now, we must see it with mortal eyes. We dragon aspects have fulfilled our great purpose, and our ancient power is expended. But though our day draws to an end, life endures, and new generations will be born. Today's victory belongs to all who stood against the shadow. You are Azeroth's true guardians, and the future of this world is in your hands. For the dawning of the Age of Mortals has begun.
To make sure that Deathwing was gone for good, the other aspects have sacrificed all their remaining power to the artifacts. Now, they're not entirely powerless, but the time of the dragon aspects is definitely over, which made room for the dawn of mortals and all the conflicts that came with. For Deathwing and the legacy of his Black Dragon flights, it's a rough deal being the guardian of the earth when the earth itself is corrupted and maddening whispers assault your mind. Onyxia, Nefarian, and so many others of his flights, they fell to the same darkness, but there are a few lights still kicking. We've got Ebonhorn that was cleansed by Hall High Mountain with the Hammer of Kaskarov. Rephion, which was an experiment performed by us, and despite some mistakes along the way, he does try to fulfill their flight's original charge. And then there's Sibelian, one of the line that's just kinda left and forgotten in Outlands. Who knows where his mind is at? For Deathwing, Neltharion, the Earth Warder. This is where his story ends. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed this one. And until next time, see ya!